In the last video, I just mentioned about how everything in Blender is made out of mesh objects. In Blender, you can add any of the model by going to the add menu over here. I will come to add menu here, and in mesh, I can choose any of this object, and right now I will select the UV sphere. Now we are not seeing this because it is hidden inside this cube. So I can move it using the keyboard shortcut G. If I press G, and in which axis I want to move? I want to move along the y axis, means press Y, and say I want to move it by 2 units, means type 2. So it has moved along the z axis by 2 units. You can see it here. You can, whenever an object, if you want to remove it, then we make use of the keyboard shortcut X and we click on delete. The other way is you can even select an object and press the delete key. You can press the del key on your keyboard. See, it gets deleted. Also here, I will just zoom out. I will select this light and I can right click, and even here in the context menu, you have the option delete. I can also click on the camera, right click and choose delete. If you want to add any object, you can also use the keyboard shortcut Shift plus A. Wherever you place your mouse, as soon as you press Shift plus A, the add menu will appear just next to your mouse, and you can select, say I select cylinder here, and I can add a cylinder over here. To make you familiar, I will just add all the primitives here. I will press Shift plus A and I will add a plane. The plane is here. I will open the panel here and I will move it along the x axis by 1 meter, see, or not 1 meter, I will move it by 5 meter. You have the plane here. I will again press Shift A, and in mesh, next I will add a cube, and this cube along the x axis I will move it by around 8 meters, and then see you have the cube here. Then I will again press Shift plus A, and in mesh I will add a circle, and I will move this circle along the x axis by around 12 meters. You have the circle here. With Shift and middle mouse pressed, I will just pan it so that we can see it here. I will again press Shift A and I will add the UV sphere, and I will move this by around 15 units here. I will again press Shift A, and in mesh I will now add a icosphere, and I will move it by 18 units here. I will press Shift A, press mesh, and I am going to add cylinder. I have already added. I will add a cone and I will move it by 20 units here, and I will again press Shift A, mesh, and I am going to add a torus, and I will move it by around 23 units here. So now if I roll the mouse and zoom out, and with Shift and middle mouse pressed, if I pan it, you can now see all the primitive object placed in one line over here. And one last item I failed to add here is I will again press Shift plus A, and in mesh you have the Suzanne monkey. See here, I will click on this Suzanne monkey and I will move it along the x axis by 26 units. So I have the Suzanne monkey here. So all these are the primitive objects that are available in Blender. Now here you can see all these objects are placed in this outliner, and all these are present inside a collection. See, you have a collection. I will just double click on the name of this collection, and I am going to call this as primitives. Okay, I will just close it, and here if I click on this tick mark here, see, it gets hidden. Now all these objects are hidden, and in the scene I will right click and I will create a new collection, and I am going to work on this collection 2 now. And in this collection 2, now what I will do is I will come back to the scene here. I will press Shift A and I am going to add an icosphere. You already know that as soon as I added this icosphere, I will just zoom it, Shift middle mouse, I will pan it. You are seeing this icosphere, and also add icosphere. You are seeing this entire menu here. This menu will be visible initially. Now say for example, I select this icosphere and I press G, and I will just move it along x axis. I will press X and move it like this. Now see, this icosphere menu is replaced with move menu. So now I can set the move value along the x axis. Say I want to move it by 3 units. I press 3 and this This menu will represent our last action. Whatever the last action we do here, that will be represented by the menu over here. Now, if I want to modify this icosphere, if I want to change it radius or something, it is not possible because I have already moved it. So, right now what I will do is I will press X and I will delete it. I will again press Shift plus A and I am going to add a new icosphere, and now immediately I can modify these parameters. I can bring in the changes in the parameters here. Now, here right now if I zoom it, this has only 2 subdivisions. I can increase it to make this look more smoother. See, I have made it 4 subdivision. I can change its radius, it is 1 meter. If I click and increase it, you can see the radius is going to increase, and also I can choose for which object it is aligned. Right now it is aligned to world. I can either align it to view or I can align it to 3D cursor. So, you have these 3 options here. I will leave it back to world, and I can also set its position here, what should be its x, y, z position, and also I can set its rotation. So, I can make all these modification as soon as I create an object. Now, the option that are shown here depends upon the object that we have added in the scene. Right now, I will select this icosphere, press X and I will delete it. Now, instead of the icosphere, I will press Shift plus A, and now I am going to add a torus. So, when you add a torus, see, you have more options present over here. Say for example, I can set the major radius, I can change the minor radius, I can change the number of segments you have in the major segment, minor segment I can modify it. See, this way I have more of the options available for a torus. Now, it is always better to edit the model as soon as we create it in this menu. Right now, I am going to select this, press X and I will delete it. Say for example, here now I will press Shift plus A, and in mesh I am going to add a cylinder. So, as soon as I add the cylinder, I want to come to the top view. You can come to the top view in various ways. You can come to view and choose viewport and top, or I can press the numpad 7 to come to the top view, or also you have one tiddler key, that is the key which is next to 1. If you click on it, you get all the views. See, this is the keyboard shortcut. If you press the key which is next to 1, left side of 1 on your keyboard, that is called as the tiddler key, you will get this option. So, I can choose top here and I can come to the top view now. So, now here as of now, if I zoom it, press Shift and middle mouse, and if I pan it, you can see it here. You can see in the cylinder setup, you have 32 vertices here. That is, if I zoom it, this cylinder has 32 vertices all around, and if I decrease this, you can see the numbers are decreasing. See, it is decreasing. If I make it 3, it becomes a triangle. So, right now when you are doing the modeling, one thing you have to remember is, say for example, I am modeling some object and I want to cut this model exactly into half. So, now if I have 6 faces, that is 6 faces now, it is very difficult to cut it exactly to the half. If I have 7 or 8, so if I have 8 faces, then this point is exactly along the x axis and this point is along the y axis. I will press Shift plus middle mouse and pan it. So, it is very easy to work on the model when these vertices are aligned. However, if I make it 7 point, see, these vertices are not aligned, and to cut it, it becomes difficult. So, as soon as we create an object, we are going to set this number of vertices correctly so that it matches our requirements. Now, I will select this, press X and delete it. So, right now what you are seeing is, whenever I press Shift plus A and add any of the primitive here, the primitive is added exactly at the center. You can see it is added exactly at the center, but the thing is, always these objects are not added exactly at the center. I will again press X and delete it. It is added exactly at the point where our cursor is. So, if I just zoom it in, you can see this dotted white line. This is what we call as a cursor. So, where we place the cursor, the object will be placed there. So, we can shift this cursor and place it anywhere in our plane, and even if you come to the toolbox here, if I just drag it like this, you can even see it with the names, this cursor. And the second tool is cursor. If I select this cursor and click anywhere, you can see the cursor is added. Say for example, I add a cursor here. Now, if I press Shift plus A and add a plane, see the plane is added at this point. It is added at the point where the cursor is located. I will again press X and delete it, and I will come back here and choose my select box. Now, the keyboard shortcut for this cursor is, when you are clicking, normal left click is to select the object, but if I press Shift and click, right click. So, with Shift, if I right click, you can see the cursor can be placed anywhere. So, as I click and drag, I can even right click and drag it and place it anywhere. So, I can place this cursor anywhere like this. See, sometimes what happens is, say I will zoom out like this and I will come somewhere here, and with Shift right click, I will add a that is the cursor right here. So, I have added the cursor here. And now what I will do is, I am focused on this area, and now I will press Shift plus A and I am going to add a cube. So, I pressed Shift A and added a cube, but this cube is nowhere visible in my scene. If I suddenly want to see or zoom to the object that I have just now added, you can press the period button on your numpad. On your numpad, if you press the period button, immediately you will be zoomed in to the object that you have selected. See, immediately this object has been, the scene has been panned to this object. So, this is an easy way of navigating to a selected object quickly in your 3D space. What you can do is, you can select, say for example, I will press Shift, I am somewhere here. So, I doesn't know where it is. I can just select the object here in the outliner, come over in the screen and press the period on the numpad, and you will be navigated to that object. So, remember to use these shortcuts when you are doing your modeling. Now, here this option is also present here in View Frame Selected. You can see here. Say for example, I will zoom out. Or I will say I will come over here with Shift right click, I will add a cursor here, then press Shift A and I am going to add a UV sphere here. And now I am seeing the UV sphere, but I want to come to the cube. Then I can select the cube here, come to View and choose Frame Selected. Then immediately I will move to this cube. And also, say I now want to move to sphere, means I select the sphere. And the other keyboard shortcut for this is, you have the tilde key which is next to the 1 button on your keyboard. To the left of your 1 button, you have the tilde key. You click on the tilde key, and in the menu that you are seeing here, you have one View Selected option. So, if I select this View Selected, now I will jump to this sphere. So, these are some of the tips you have to remember when you are navigating while modeling. Now, here I have one cube and one sphere, and I want to see both of them. I want to see all the object present in the scene, means then in View you have another option here called Frame All, and the keyboard shortcut for this is the home button on your keyboard. If I press the home button on the keyboard, you can see all the objects in the scene will be now visible. Now, the next thing is, I have place this cursor somewhere here and I want it back at the world origin 0, 0, 0. So, now if I zoom, I want this cursor to be placed exactly at the center. So, now if I shift and right click here and try to place it, it will not be placed exactly to the center. So, if I want to place this cursor exactly to the world origin, then I can come to object here, you have snap, and in snap you have an option here, cursor to world origin. If I click on cursor to world origin, you can see the cursor is placed exactly to the world origin. You can also make the cursor place to any object. Say for example, I will press Shift plus A and I am going to add, say for example, a cube, and then I will press G and I will move it along the x axis by 3 units. So, I will press enter. So, now this has been moved along the x axis by 3 units and I want now the cursor here. Then what I can do is, with this cube selected, go to object and in snap you choose cursor to select it and automatically it is snapped to this. Now, every time instead of going to object, snap and using this cursor menu, you have a keyboard shortcut for this, and the keyboard shortcut for this is Shift plus S. So, when you press Shift plus S, you have this pie menu where you can either choose cursor selected or I can choose cursor to world origin and it comes back to the origin. So, this is how we can navigate this cursor in our scene. So, now what I want you to do is, I want you to learn how to add primitives into your scene. So, now what I want you to do is, I want you to add all the primitives in a line here at different points. How you can do is, I will give you a tip. If the cursor is here at the center, I will just select this cube, press X and delete it. Now, I will press Shift A and I will add a plane here. Now, if I want the next object here, I will press Shift and right click, add the cursor here, then Shift A and I can add the cube here, and I will press again with Shift right click here and I will press Shift A and I am going to add UV sphere here. And like this, you just practice about adding this object at different points. And then also, now you are somewhere here and I want to zoom into this cube 1, then select cube 1 and how you can press the period button on the numpad to zoom there, or if you want to zoom in to all the object present in the scene, you have to press home. So, just practice all these tools and all these concepts that we have discussed in this session. Now, the other challenge that I want you to do is, you are seeing 3 objects that I have created here. You have this triangle, you have this second shape and you have this third pyramid. Remember, these 3 were created just by using the primitives here. Okay. So, by tweaking the values of these primitives, we have created these 3 model. Now, I want you to create these 3 model, save it and submit it as an assignment. So, in the next session, I will show you exactly how you can create this.